Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. This is actually the last video of the year. I had forgotten that Friday was the first of the year. So the video that I'll be putting together today and setting up as a premiere for Friday, so you guys all have fair warning, will actually be the first video of next year, and it will be the giveaway. So I'll go into a lot of the details for that during that video. But I just, like I said, I just want to make sure you guys have plenty of chance and warning that it's coming, and then you guys can leave comments. Well, like I said, I'll give you all the details for that during that video. This video here, I thought I would go through my favorite DIYs for 2020. Now, I'm not entirely sure. I think one of them, I think I did a fair amount of work for last year as well. But it doesn't really matter. I just wanted to show you some stuff that I like and go through some of the reasons why I like them. It's not all necessarily because it was a great build or, like I said, I'm really proud of how it turned out. A lot of it comes down to how useful I find it. And this is actually one of them. This is just a simple vinegar eel separator. I made it out of PVC instead of acrylic. Just to try out something different. I know, actually at the time I knew they weren't photomigratory, but I thought maybe with the darkness in the PVC that things would, work out differently. In the end, I don't think it was really that made the difference. I think it is the narrower aperture at the top, and this way it distributes the worms more slowly, and I get to use it for like 3 days instead of just 1.5 to 2, and I actually really like that part of it. I am going to be building another one of these a little later on in the year because I want to try make this, test out if that's actually the reason for it, and I'm going to make one with a 3/4 inch aperture instead of the 1/2 inch, and we'll see how that goes. Oh, by the way, my cat here is going to be in an awful lot of this today because, well, during the holidays, I really didn't get into the fish room a whole lot because, well, I was, take a break from building and, recharge the batteries and all that sort of stuff. So the second I went down here to record this, he came down because this is what he does when I'm down here building normally. He'll come around, he will root in some tanks, he will check stuff out, and then he'll spend the rest of the time sitting in my chair watching me go back and forth and doing stuff. So he hasn't really had much of a chance to do that the last little while, and he's definitely getting his shares in today. So anyway, it is interesting because I think I'm his entertainment system. He just sort of watches me and gets like value out of that somehow. Anyway, let's get back to what I need to talk about here. This Diatom Filter build is actually one that I'm really happy with in the sense of it does all the things that the larger one does, but it fits inside an aquarium. And the fact that after I built this and I realized that the chamber size is completely irrelevant for this, that was kind of interesting. I mean, it is now that I've built it and I see how it works. It seems like, oh, I should have known that, but it's one of those things that you clue in after the fact. And here is a simple build. This sink I put together mostly because I'm lazy and I don't really want to walk back and forth from here to the sink that's across the fish room every time I have a little bit of water I need to pour somewhere. And the other method I had if I was doing that was to put a bucket and then I have to carry the bucket all the way across. So I was actually kind of happy with this in the sense that I get a lot of use out of this. I mean, this is the configuration I actually use it in. I don't use the fine screen that much, but this keeps anything like snails and shrimp and scuds and that sort of stuff, and of course fish, going down the drain when I'm just going through quickly and skimming surface off the water, or if I'm actually doing a bit of a gravel vacuum. Well, I don't have gravel, but vacuuming the mulm off the bottom of the tank. This keeps that from going down the drain, and just the small stuff goes, which is great. So I find this really, really useful. And it's one of those things that I use pretty much every time I go down to the fish room. So it definitely deserves a mention here. And again, it is not a massive build. It was easy to put together, but it is something I use a lot, and that's very important to me. So the final two builds that I'm going to cover today are filters. And this is the one I'm pretty sure I did a fair amount of work with in 2019, but it is something I get an awful lot of use out of, obviously. They're extremely useful. This is just a box filter. This one here is set up with nothing but sponges and polywool on the top, and it is in the pleco tank because plecos are, as you can see, extremely messy. And I find that this helps keep the tank a lot clearer, and it would actually be quite clear right now if it wasn't for the fact that this needs cleaning. And I thought I'd just show you this clip here of another one. I have, I think, 9 or 10 of these running in the shop. I don't use them as much. Like in this case, it is the full filter for the tank. And as you can see, it keeps it nice and clear, and the fish are nice and happy. But I tend to use them more as an augment now. I will put them in as supplemental filtration if, like in the pleco tank, or if I think a particular tank needs a little bit of polishing. Because I don't really use the diatom for that very much anymore. It's mostly I use the diatom for is if I have a client that has, a bit of ick or an algae bloom or something like that. So I use that mostly for that. So this is my water polisher, really. Now this is one of the many underground filters I have that goes to a high humidity planter. I have a great many of these now, and I am gradually making more and more of them. I'm very happy with this. This is definitely my favorite build, I think, probably of all time as far as DIYs go. I have no faults for these things. They do their job. Certain ones I've done, like this one here is a 4-inch deep bed. It's perfectly fine. I mean, it's in a pleco tank, so it is doing so. You can tell by how much plant matter is growing here. This is the back end where there's no light, and there's still tons of plants back here. The other end you can't even see through at the moment because I need to take the top off and clean it. But it grows everything so fast, and it is a great filter. So this is, like I said, this is a filter that I am the most proud of for the builds I've done to date. And this is actually, not this particular one obviously, but this is what I want or intend to do for the giveaway. Now, all my giveaways have always been winner's choice. I mean, if this turns out that whoever wins does not want an undergravel going to a high humidity planter, that's perfectly fine. I will, again, obviously build whatever they prefer as long as it fits in a reasonable size box, and it is not something that's overly expensive to make. But I'll go into all that detail for Friday's video. For today, I just really want to showcase this in the sense that, I mean, you've seen the plant experiment with the different substrates. I mean, each of those has one of these, except in that particular case, those are ones that rely on a particular size of tank so that you can, it sits in there and the planter actually sits on a bracket that fits on the sides of the tank. This one's freestanding, and that's the only style I think I can make for a giveaway, because this can just sit right in an aquarium as long as the tank's not too deep. I mean, if you have a 24 or 36 inch deep tank, I don't think I can make one wide enough and ship for it to be stable. But if you have like an 18-inch deep tank or 12-inch or whatever, this is perfect for that sort of thing. So that, again, I'll go into detail more of that on Friday. Mostly for the rest of this, I just really want to thank everyone. I mean, this has been one of those years. I mean, once this is all gone by, I'm sure we'll have interesting memories about it and tell stories about it. But when you're actually going through it, it's more annoying than anything else. And hopefully we'll all get through the rest of this, get the vaccines out there and all that stuff, and have a relatively normal 2021, hopefully. And that is yet to be seen, of course. And anyway, I wanted to thank you guys for, with all your comments and watching the videos and all the back and forth talking and figuring stuff out. It is really something that got me through this year. I mean, that's pretty much the only way of saying that, because it has, like I said, I mean, putting up 3 videos a week just to keep myself occupied, and having you guys all the feedback has just been wonderful. So thank you very much, and that big thank you will be on Friday, of course, with the giveaway. So as always, if you like this style of video, please like and or subscribe and leave me comments. I'll answer today's video comments, but I won't be answering Friday's comments because I suspect there's going to be a fair number of them. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.